Hello students, welcome back to your online video classes. In the previous lesson, we have started our discussion on circulatory system. I have told you the circulatory system is transportation of nutrients, oxygen to the cells and removing waste materials from the body. So, we have discussed the blood in detail, which is composed of two parts. First one is the plasma, which is the liquid part, in which 92% is water and the remaining 8% is proteins. First of all, fibrinogen, we have discussed it in detail. It is helpful in clotting of blood. Second one is globulin, which helps in defense mechanism, that is protection of body from foreign substances. Third one is albumin, which helps us to maintain the osmotic balance. Then we discuss the blood cells, the solid part of blood, which is 45% of total blood. We have discussed RBC, which is also known as erythrocytes, then WBC, which is also known as leukocytes, and the third one was platelets, which is also known as thrombocytes. And now today we will first start our discussion with the functions of blood. There are so many functions of blood. First of all, the main function of blood is exchange of gases, exchange of O2 and CO2 between environment and tissues. Second function of blood is transportation of useful nutrients to the cells of tissues. Then third one is it also helps to maintain the pH. And what is pH? pH is a measure of amount of acid or base present in any substance, and blood helps to maintain the pH, that it resists the change in pH of blood. First of all, this maintenance of pH is known as buffer system. In blood, CO2 combines with H2O and forms carbonic acid. Carbonic acid is H2CO3. And by releasing one H ion, it forms an anion, that is HCO3 minus. It is known as hydrogen carbonate. And these two, H2CO3 and HCO3, together maintains the pH of blood, and this system is known as buffer system. Blood also helps to maintain the temperature of body. It also helps in transportation of hormones, and it also helps in transporting the immunity based cells, for example lymphocytes and monocytes, which we have discussed in the previous class. Not only for providing nutrients, blood also helps in removing the waste products from the body. Now we will discuss, after the functions of blood, the types of blood group. First of all, ABO blood grouping. You might have heard about the blood groups. You all must know which blood group do you have, and the same blood group should we have for the transplantation. There are different types of blood group. First of all, A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and O blood group. So we will discuss these one by one in detail. First of all, A blood group, in which antigen A is present on the surface of RBC, and the antibodies against antigen B is present in the plasma. Just suppose if a person having a blood group of A has been donated the blood of a person having a blood group B, then what will happen? In the plasma, already antibodies against antigen B is present, and if the antigen of B comes, then antigen and antibody reacts together and forms a clumping. Clumping is destruction of RBC. The word clumping is destruction of RBC due to the antigen and antibody reaction, because the donor's blood will be treated as a foreign substance and the immunity based cells will react according to that. Now, if a person have a blood group B, then antigen B is present on the surface of RBC, and in plasma antibodies against antigen A is present. So, we can't provide a person having blood group B the blood group having the antigen A. Now then comes AB, in which antigen of A and B both are present on the surface of RBC, but antibodies are absent in plasma. So, as there are no antibodies in the plasma, So they can accept blood of everybody, as there will be no antigen antibody reaction. So AB blood group persons are known as universal acceptors. They can accept the blood from person having blood group A, B, AB and O. Now comes the universal donors, that is the persons having blood group O, in which antigens are absent. Here O, you can say that it is 0, that is no antigen is present, neither A nor B. But in the plasma, antibodies for both A and B are present. That's why they can't accept blood from the persons having both antigens A or either B. So they can't accept blood from the A blood group, B as well as from AB. But they can donate their blood to everyone, to the O blood group, A, B and AB also, as there are antibodies present but no antigen. So there will be no antigen antibody reaction when they donate their blood. So they are known as universal donors. This kind of blood group in which we study A and B antigens are known as ABO blood grouping. Now the second type of blood grouping is RH. RH word comes from the rhesus. Rhesus is a type of monkey like our ancestors, in which the first time the RH antigen was found. If RH antigen is present on the surface of RBC, then that type of blood group is known as positive blood group, that is RH positive. If someone is B positive, then that positive word comes for the RH. Then comes the RH negative blood group, in which RH antigen are absent. But in the plasma, antibodies of RH is absent in both RH positive as well as in RH negative blood group. In world, about 85% have blood group RH positive, and in India approximately 97% people belongs to the blood group RH positive. So we have completed our discussion on functions of blood and then the types of blood groups, and now we will discuss the types of blood circulation. First of all, open blood circulation, in which blood passes through large vessels and then get emptied in the large spaces. But in the closed type of blood circulation, there are many small and big blood vessels which precisely distribute the blood. It is the more advantageous system, and this type of system is present in human beings. There are three main parts of closed circulatory system. You can understand it like a water pipeline system. First of all, heart. You can take it as an electric motor which pumps the blood as motor pumps the water. Then comes blood. You can take blood as the water which flows in the water pipelines. So blood flows and transports nutrient and useful substances to the cells and also remove waste materials. Then comes blood vessels. Blood vessels are those pipes in which water flows. So in body, in blood vessels, blood flows. There are two types of blood vessels. First one is artery and second one is veins. Mostly artery carry oxygenated blood, but veins carry deoxygenated blood. So we have discussed already the blood in detail in the previous lesson. Now today we will have our discussion on heart and then on blood vessels. So first of all, the pumping organ. You all might have heard about this, the heart. It is a hollow organ whose shape is a fist-like shape. Fist shape. It's like this kind of shape, fist. Then it is surrounded by double membranes. Just like lungs, which we have studied, was surrounded by double membrane known as pleural membrane. Like that, heart is surrounded by double membranous structure, and these membranes are known as pericardium, in which a cavity is present, pericardial cavity, in which pericardial fluid is present, which protects the heart from damage. In this structure of heart, total 4 chambers are present. Two upper one are relatively smaller and are known as atria, and then comes two relatively larger, that is ventricles. So, in the heart there are total 4 portions. You can understand so, in the heart there are total 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. In the right hand side, atria and ventricles are guarded by 3 tricuspid valves. Valves allows the only unidirectional flow of blood, and in the left hand side 2 cusps, that is the bicuspid valves are present, which are also known as left atrioventricular valve. Atrio means atrium and ventricular means ventricle. So, it is the left atrioventricular valve. Like that, in the right hand side, atrium and ventricle is guarded by 3 cusps known as tricuspid valve. Valve allows the unidirectional flow of blood, and these are known as right atrioventricular valve. So, now let us study the blood circulation and structure of heart with the help of diagram. These diagrams are given in your book, page number 18, figure number 2.7 and 2.8. So, first of all, we will study blood circulation. There are basically 2 types of blood circulation. First one is pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary is the term used for the lungs. So, in pulmonary circulation, there is blood circulation between heart and lungs, in which major one main artery and one main vein is used. First of all, pulmonary artery. In general, artery contains oxygenated blood, but in pulmonary circulation, pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. The basic concept of artery is it takes blood away from the body. From heart to the tissues carry oxygenated blood, from heart to lungs carry deoxygenated blood, which gets oxygenated at the surface of lungs and then carried back to the heart through the pulmonary vein. Deoxygenated blood is stored in right atrium of the heart, from where pulmonary artery takes deoxygenated blood to the lung surface where it gets oxygenated, and then pulmonary vein carries the blood, that is oxygenated blood, from lungs to the left atrium of the heart. The left side portion of heart carries the oxygenated blood and right side carries the deoxygenated blood. Then this oxygenated blood from the left ventricle of heart through the help of artery goes to the various tissues, and from tissues which produces CO2 carries deoxygenated blood with the help of veins to the right side portion of body and empties the blood in the right side of heart. Then here comes the structure of heart. Heart has 4 chambers. First of all, right atrium, in which deoxygenated blood is emptied by the vena cava. Vena cava is a major vein. All the veins which carry deoxygenated blood together combines and forms a major duct, which is vena cava, which empties the deoxygenated blood in the right atrium of the heart. Then from right atrium, blood flows to the right ventricle, which is larger, by the help of the tricuspid valve, in which 3 cusps are present. And here aorta carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle and distributes it to the various tissues of the body. Aorta then further divides into the artery, which carry oxygenated blood away from the heart to the tissues. Then pulmonary artery. I have told you pulmonary artery carry deoxygenated blood from right atrium to the lungs, and pulmonary vein carry oxygenated blood from lungs to heart in the left atrium of heart. Left atrium carry oxygenated blood, then blood flows from left atrium to left ventricle by the help of bicuspid valves. These one are bicuspid valves, also known as mitral valves or left atrioventricular valve. So this was all about the blood circulation and the structure of heart. Now after the structure of heart and blood circulation, we will discuss the disorders related to the circulatory system. The first of all, we will discuss the hypertension. Hypertension is also known as high blood pressure, in which there is occurrence of persistent high systolic and diastolic pressure. So first of all, we will understand what systolic and diastolic pressure is. Systolic pressure is the pressure when there is contraction in the heart. When contraction takes place, volume decreases, and we have discussed in the previous class that PV is constant. When volume decreases, pressure increases. So systolic pressure is the greater pressure and diastolic pressure is at the time of relaxation when volume is increased, so pressure decrease. So that will be the lower one. If there is a persistent 140 systolic pressure and 90 mmHg diastolic pressure, then this condition is known as high blood pressure. It is very dangerous, as if a person having the persistent blood pressure 220 or 120, that is systolic one is 220 and the diastolic one is 120, then there can be rupture of arteries. If the arteries of brain is ruptured, then this is known as brain stroke and the death of person can happen immediately. And if the kidney, there may be blindness. If optic arteries is ruptured, then the person can even blind, and if the arteries of kidney is ruptured, then kidney may damage suddenly. Then comes the hypotension. Hypotension is the condition which is also known as low blood pressure, in which the person may have the persistent blood pressure 110 and 70, but the normal blood pressure of a person is systolic one is 120 and diastolic one is 80, that is 120 mmHg and 80 mmHg. But in the person having hypotension, the blood pressure decreases, 110 the systolic pressure and 70 is the diastolic pressure. This may occur due to the deficient diet and anemia. Anemia is the deficiency of RBC, hemoglobin in the blood. Then comes the third condition. All these conditions, heart failure, cardiac arrest, heart attack and heart block, looks like similar, that they are all the same, but no, there are major differences in these conditions of heart. First of all, heart failure. It is the condition in a person in which the heart cannot pump blood effectively to all over the body. Then comes cardiac arrest, in which heart stops beating, that heart stops and the death of person is certain. Then comes heart attack, in which the muscles of heart cannot get adequate oxygen and so the heart becomes weak in the heart attack condition. And the last one is heart block, in which there is blockage in the AV node. So the impulses of heart cannot go all over to the heart, and that's why it stops pumping. Now in the last we will study a topic known as pacemaker. Pacemaker is a special type of muscle present in the right atrium, right hand side upper portion, that is pacemaker, which stimulates the impulses in the heart and carries the heart and initiates the heartbeat and carries impulses all over the heart. It is SA node. The name of this special muscle is SA node, which is sinoatrial node. Then comes one more special muscular structure, which is AV node, atrioventricular node. It helps SA node in making the pace in the heart, that is carrying the impulses all over the heart and initiating the heartbeat. Now comes a small topic. You might have heard the sound of heart, that is the lub and dub sound. It may be heard with the help of a stethoscope, that lub and dub sound. It is the time of closure of the valves in the heart. When the atrioventricular valve, that is the tricuspid and bicuspid valve closes, then the sound comes lub, and when semilunar valves closes, then the sound dub is produced. So we have discussed the structure of heart, functions of blood, the whole blood circulation, and finally the disorders of blood circulatory system. Now in the next class we will discuss the excretory system.